Hey man, don't get too attached to things. Learn to let go.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst MCU villains.
The time has come to rejoice and renounce your paltry gods.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most disappointing or underwhelming antagonists in the MCU's movies and TV shows. We won't be including any anti-heroes, only straight-up bad guys. Which MCU villain disappointed you the most? Voice your dissatisfaction in the comments below. Number 10. Antonia Dreykov, Taskmaster, Black Widow. Although Dreykov was an underwhelming mustache-twirling baddie, his daughter Antonia got the shorter end of the stick.
You find it difficult to look at her. I do.
She was revealed as the Taskmaster in a hard-to-believe twist. Despite fitting the plot, the character is nothing like the awesome villains seen in comics, games, and TV shows. While the character keeps her cool ability to basically copy anyone's fighting style, her characterization is incredibly shallow. Taskmaster is known and beloved for being a ruthless and sometimes chatty mercenary.
I've studied all of Hydra's manuals of the Iron Man armor. With this suit and my skills, I won't have to work for jerks like the Skull anymore.
But Antonia barely speaks and is made into a glorified henchwoman with no agency. While her future as a villain is extremely questionable, we know her first appearance was lackluster for many fans.
I'm sorry. Is it God?
Number 9. Karli Morgenthau, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I'm not your enemy. I agree with your fight. I just can't get with the way you're fighting it.
At first, Karli's beliefs are admirable. As the leader of the anarchist group the Flag Smashers, she wanted to maintain the world's increased freedom to travel and share resources after the Thanos snap. But her actions make her really unlikable. Although Sam actually sees the merit of her cause, Karli consistently pushes back against him.
You're not hiding behind a shield. If I were to kill you, it'd be meaningless.
Working together would have hugely benefited them both. Instead, Karli and her people constantly fight Sam and his allies. Seeing her fatally wound the well-intentioned Lamar in a battle was bad enough, but her most disgraceful act comes when she blows up a supply depot that had innocent people inside after stealing what she needed. Despite having compelling motivations, Karli's actions are consistently irksome and despicable.
There were still people in there.
This is the only language these people understand.
Number 8. Emil Blonsky, the Abomination, the Incredible Hulk.
Give me a real fight.
Unfortunately, one of the most forgettable elements of the Incredible Hulk film was its big bad. In an attempt to finally bring Bruce Banner in, Thaddeus Ross hires Emil Blonsky. Audiences are told this man is known for his tremendous track record with the British Royal Marines. But the movie never does much to flesh out Blonsky beyond his desires to fight and take down the Hulk.
The mixture could be an abomination.
When he gets a taste of the green guy's power and becomes Abomination, it leads to an underwhelming final conflict. Not only do they have similar power sets, but they're essentially fighting for bragging rights instead of something important. Shang-Chi made clear that there are plans for Blonsky's Abomination in the MCU. We hope he's handled better in the future.
John.
Maybe you'll start controlling those punches like we practiced.
Number 7. The Hand, Various.
ブラックスカイの運命は我々の手の内にある。邪魔なのはこのデルデブルだけだ。
Since the Daredevil and Kingpin have appeared in more mainline MCU outings, it's not a stretch to assume the villainous Hand organization is canon too. The group was built up as a group of tremendous warriors, but while a few could put up a decent fight, most of the group consisted of generic soldiers the heroes had zero problem with. They reached a new low when they were the main villains of the Defenders. Hand leader Alexandra aims to use the organization's forces to grab a life-extending substance.
If you knew me at all, you'd know I always win.
But after she was slain by her newest recruit, the evil group failed miserably and was severely weakened. Despite having a notorious reputation, this notoriously evil group turned out to be a lackluster organization.
Our brothers, while clumsy in delivery, speak the truth.
Number 6. Ivan Vanko, Whiplash, Iron Man 2.
My father is the reason you're alive.
The reason I'm alive is because you had a shot, you took it, you missed.
Did I?
One of Iron Man 2's main faults was the one-dimensional villain known as Ivan Vanko, aka Whiplash. Since Anton Vanko's life spiraled into poverty and darkness after Howard Stark wronged him, Ivan wanted to get revenge for his father by ruining Tony. While the unique and layered motivation is great, Whiplash is incredibly shallow. It's seriously hard to tell if he wants anything more out of life than to hang out with his bird and kill Tony.
I can get you a bird, I can get you 10 birds.
I want my bird.
Well, okay, nothing's impossible. Are we talking about, is this a bird back in Russia?
Actor Mickey Rourke claimed several times that his character was more complex. However, he allegedly became nothing more than a physical obstacle for Tony to overcome behind the scenes. That claim would certainly explain why Whiplash didn't have much to offer outside of action sequences.
All I have to do is sit here and watch as the world will consume you.
Where will you be watching the world consume me from? That's right. A prison cell. I'll send you a bar of soap.
Number 5. Ronan the Accuser, Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy is filled with witty dialogue and engaging characters, but its villain sticks out as a boring and overly serious inclusion.
The only matter I do not take seriously, boy, is you. Your politics bore me. Your demeanor is that of a pouty child.
After Ronan grew up knowing Kree family members and allies died fighting the Nova Empire, a peace treaty was signed between the two sides. But the unsatisfied villain became obsessed with destroying his former enemies.
Our government signed a peace treaty!
My government knows no shame.
Most of the time he's on screen, he's just an angry and shouty mess. A bloodthirsty Kree out to spread carnage because that's how things have been done didn't make for an interesting character or villain. The role gave the normally wonderful Lee Pace nothing to work with. Unfortunately, Ronan was just as boring and more ineffective when he appeared in Captain Marvel.
That's impossible. C-53 doesn't have a defense system advanced enough to destroy our warheads.
That's not their defense system, Ronan.
Number 4. Darren Cross, Yellow Jacket, Ant-Man.
What's the matter? You're not impressed?
Oh, I'm impressed. I'm also concerned. Imagine what our enemies could do with this tech.
We should have a longer conversation about that, Frank. I really value your opinion.
Businessman Darren Cross wanted to become rich and powerful by replicating his former mentor's shrinking technology. He becomes willing to commit increasingly heinous acts to win. While it's implied that Darren's work with Pym particles may have corrupted him, his lack of screen time really hurts him.
Darren! What are you doing?
He wasn't any more capable of caring for you than he was for me.
This is not who you are. It's the particles altering your brain chemistry.
Since the movie spends most of its runtime on Scott, Hank, and Hope, the villain and his possible mental struggles feel like an afterthought. It doesn't help that making a corrupt businessman the big bad is a generic and boring action movie choice. And worst of all, Cross wanted to sell shrinking tech to Hydra right after they nearly slayed countless innocents. By the time we reached the final showdown, we weren't invested in this businessman.
Did you think you could stop the future with a heist? It was never just a heist!
Number 3. Yon-Rogg, Captain Marvel.
I think it only serves the enemy.
while Carol believes Yon-Rogg to be an ally for a large chunk of the movie, his true colors eventually come out. And they are dull. By the end of the movie, we learned that Yon-Rogg killed Carol's mentor, took the future Avenger into space, and hid the origins of her powers.
You lied to me.
I made you the best version of yourself. What's given can be taken away.
That sounds like Yon-Rogg is pretty wicked and devious on his own. Unfortunately, he only committed all these evil acts to serve the Kree's supreme intelligence. We never get hints at his backstory or why he's so desperate to please his boss, and when the climax comes, he's far too weak to make the slightest difference against Carol. This non-threatening and flat character also committed the crime of severely wasting Jude Law's talents.
I can't go back empty-handed.
You won't be empty-handed. I'm sending you with a message. Tell the Supreme Intelligence that I'm coming to end it. The war, the lies, all of it.
You can't do this.
Number 2, Aldrich Killian, Iron Man 3.
Because the second you give evil a face, a Bin Laden, a Gaddafi, a Mandarin, you hand the people a target.
You're something else.
On paper, a plan to prop up a fake threat as a distraction so that you can further your illegal dealings is a pretty smart one. In execution, it ticked off nearly every Marvel fan. Killian helped develop an experimental process that could give people powers. When certain subjects exploded, he made an actor named Trevor portray a villain named Mandarin and say it was an attack.
Don't hurt the face, I'm an actor.
You got a minute to live. Fill it with words.
Just a role. The Mandarin, see, it's not real.
Having Killian turn a legendary comic antagonist into a fall guy was disappointing to many. Mandarin aside, Killian's random list of motivations included everything from kidnapping the president to becoming powerful to getting revenge on Tony. The businessman's messy objectives and greed made him feel like a cliched villain. Appropriately, Killian's death scene is treated as a joke.
You're looking right at him. It was always me, Tony. Right from the start.
I am the Mandarin!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Malekith, Thor: The Dark World.
Your universe was never meant to be. Your world and your family will be extinguished!
The Dark World is widely considered to be one of the worst MCU efforts to date. The generic antagonist is so boring that we wouldn't blame anyone for forgetting his name. As the Dark Elf leader, Malekith essentially wanted to cover everything in darkness. He even sacrificed his own people to keep his vague dream alive. But after waking up from a long nap, he doesn't display any of that menace.
Who are you?
I am Malekith, and I would have what is mine.
He's dull and barely shows any emotion. Although Malekith's supposed to be an intimidating character, he mostly makes his goons do his dirty work. Actor Christopher Eccleston has spoken very candidly about how much he hated his experience. When a villain is written this blandly, we can't say we blame him at all.
You think you can stop this? The ether cannot be destroyed.
But you can.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.